What about you? What haven't they told you about your 20s?
Financial realities.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mic drops.
I know, because, for example, it's more or less tied to what Shara said. You have quote unquote a life plan. You know, and I'm getting, for example, by the time I'm 25, I'll be getting married at 25. By the time I'm getting married, I'll have my master's.
Yeah.
I'll be driving.
That was me. That was me.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
One, life is messy.
Yeah.
Life is not all the aesthetics you see on TikTok. Life is you having to choose for tier 2 things that you thought you wanted tier 1. And by this I mean, what do I mean? Probably it's a phone, yeah? You want a good phone, but you can't afford an iPhone. So you have to go for a phone which is in tier 2, just for you to shoot or communicate. So in short, life in your 20s, there are a lot of choices that you need to make. And what I always say is, what is your end goal? Yeah? If you want to start a podcast, you can't afford an iPhone. What tier 2 phone can shoot not as good as an iPhone, but just nearly as good as an iPhone? Where can you start with that, yeah? So it's more of you being humble in your heart, unajiambia, this is where I am right now, and this is what I can do with my finances, as you were saying, and figuring out what things you have to sacrifice for the better good. And that's it's good. Always have the end game. What's your end game? In every situation, what's your end game? Yeah. Hey guys, Shara Kamau here.
And my name is Wanjiro Thuku.
And I'm Lydia Njoroge.
And this is
The Talkative Trio,
where we talk about our life in our 20s.
We get to share our experiences and what that looks like.
And have fun while at it.
Yes.
Welcome, guys. So let's jump right in. This is our second episode. Yay!
Episode 2.
Episode 2, right? Yeah, so today we are going to talk about what we didn't know about life in our 20s. We're going to share about our various experiences, and we hope that you're going to leave your comments down below and share your experiences. So jumping right into it, the first thing is we have a long journey ahead.
Yeah,
for sure. As much as life is not certain, we do have a long journey ahead where we still are living the life that is unknown, hoping that we get to fulfill our dreams, hoping that we get to achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. So yeah, let's experience our 20s with joy. Party now. It will come a time where we won't have that space. You won't have that time. Let's do what we love right now. We'll be shows, yeah. Oh my gosh, we'll be
And 90-year-old shushu.
90 years, and you're going to party. But I mean, what's life? Why not? Shara, for you?
I think for me that point really kicks home. Because number one, you know, after high school, before you click your 20s, I am a planner myself, so I really had a plan after university. I had a plan when I'll get my first car, when I'll move out, how much money I should have in my account. But ideally, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Life and the universe sometimes have their own way to do things. However, at the end of it all, I may not see it right now, honestly, but maybe in my 30s, I'll be like, I'm happy I moved out when I did, or I'm happy I didn't get my car at 25, probably. I'm happy I chose this to be my first job, you know. So in short, you don't have to have it all figured out. Things will work out. Yeah.
And I think for me, it's more or less the same, yeah? When it hits that, oh gosh, you're actually in your 20s. And I think there's someone I was telling, when I was 16, 15, I used to see people in their 20s, I'm like, gosh, they're old.
They've figured it out.
You guys are old. They're figuring it out. No, you guys are old.
You are the old
so
ones.
Like, I'm at the same place where I used to see people as old. And just thinking about it and just trying to figure out what space in what are you supposed to do at this point, the whole pressure that comes with trying to figure all things out. I think it's super intense. Yeah, so I hope when we delve into it, we might not have all the answers today, but at least we'll have talked about the insecurities that come.
We are somewhere.
Honestly,
We are. I feel like so far we're doing it so well. We know, like, perhaps even personally, we know people that are not doing so well. For me, I'd say so far in our friendship, I feel like so far so good. We are doing so well in our 20s, which leads me to the second point, where we honestly don't have any idea of what we are doing in most of the times.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
You might think that, I have it figured out. But you realize that you honestly need support from your family, from your friends, because you ideally sometimes or most times don't even know what the heck you're doing.
It's happening around.
Just move.
Alafu hii economy ya Ruto, it's
It's economy.
Bottom up.
Plus, I'm thinking, to your clients, what does this mean to us in our 20s, even to you, our listeners or viewers on YouTube in our 20s is, what can you do or who can be a source of answers? So, like, for me, what I do, number one, it's good to have someone who's older, who you can talk to, someone who you can trust, because they have gone through life. Imagine you don't have to know it all. There's someone who has gone through the same thing you have gone through. So just find someone in your circle, or even maybe at church, at work, who you can talk to, and you guys can do this life together. Also through the Bible. The Bible has all its answers. So at any specific season in your life that you feel that there's something not working for you, imagine God knew it. He knew it, and that's why we have the Bible as our guide to life. Number 3, books. Books.
Read books.
Books.
Read.
Oh yeah, reading is good. I'm also trying to challenge myself. Then number 4, I listen to engage a lot, and just hearing people experiences. I don't know, it just motivates.
And then it sparks you.
It is impactful.
Yeah, it gives you a reflection of what people's lives are all about. Because sometimes you can think it's just you who has, for example, suffered with something. And then you listen to, especially engage, and then you're going to listen to people's experiences and you're like, wow, if this person was able to pull through with the situations that they've gone through and the experiences they've had, it does help.
Yeah, honestly, it does. It honestly does help, because that thing where they say a problem half shared is half solved. Half solved. Yeah. So please share it in the comments down below. Looking forward to hear what you guys will say. What about you? What haven't they told you about your 20s?
Financial realities.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mic drops.
I know, because, for example, it's more or less tied to what Shara said. You have quote unquote a life plan. And I'm getting, for example, by the time I'm 25, I'll be getting married at 25. By the time I'm getting married, I'll have my master's. I'll be driving.
That was me. That was me.
Oh my god. And I think it's just being in a space where you're trying to figure out how to deal with finances. Back to the conversation we are having in season. Is it not? It's in episode 1. How much is too much? Am I spending too much? Am I spending too little? Am I saving enough? Am I doing the right thing? I think being in such a space,
it's all right.
Financially, it really gives you a lot of, I don't want to say sleepless nights, but it gives you a lot of kind of anxiety because you're trying to figure out how am I going to get, for example, a second channel of income, right? What am I going to do? Because these are the things that are always ringing in my mind. You look at stories of people like Zuckerberg. and Jeff Bezos, and then they're like
I
you look
quit
at
my
these
job.
people, I quit my job, and then I was working from a garage at the back of my house, and then this idea popped out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it me not thinking hard enough?
Okay.
Is it, just being in such a space where you're trying to figure out your financial situation? Is it, am I doing enough? Am I just sitting back? And those thoughts can really drag you behind.
That's
because
true.
most of the time you're just thinking, you're not even actioning, but it's because you don't even know what to action at what point, what to do at what point. Yeah, so I think that's what comes with being in your 20s.
For you, Shara?
For me, I wrote one, by the way, life is messy.
Yeah.
Life is not all the aesthetics you see on TikTok. Life is you having to choose for tier 2 things that you thought you wanted tier 1. And by this I mean, what do I mean? Probably it's a phone, yeah? You want a good phone, but you can't afford an iPhone. So you have to go for a phone which is in tier 2, just for you to shoot or communicate. So in short, life in your 20s, there are a lot of choices that you need to make. And what I always say is, what is your end goal? Yeah? If you want to start a podcast, you can't afford an iPhone. What tier 2 phone can shoot not as good as an iPhone, but just nearly as good as an iPhone? Where can you start with that, yeah? So it's more of you being humble in your heart, unajiambia, this is where I am right now, and this is what I can do with my finances, as you were saying, and figuring out what things you have to sacrifice for the better good. And that's why it's good. Always have the end game. What's your end game? In every situation, what's your end game? Yeah.
That's great stuff right there. For me, my third point would be all relationships grow. And by growing, it can either grow into something beautiful, or sometimes you just find that you might fall out of friendships. But at some point, even your relationships with your siblings, your family members will grow. Some might kudidimia.
Some
zitapotelea huko, but
nyota zinaisha. Nyota zinatoka kwa sky.
Nyota zinaenda, but all your relationships grow. And you come to realize that even in like friendships, you'll have to put in the work for a good friendship to exist, right? You'll have to, if it's a relationship, it goes the same way. You'll have to put in the effort, and it's okay. Like some relationships will require like more effort compared to others, but I think basically all your relationships at some point will either grow or zitadidimia. Joy.
I think for me my other point would be
before we go to that point for her. So in your 20s, you have your early 20s, right? You have your mid 20s and you have your late 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid 20s. And how you have just said, the friendships, the relationship have really grown. The ones I have right now from when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So in short, the more you continue in these stages of your 20s life, different things will happen into those different stages.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll get to experience motherhood.
Oh, for sure.
Because there are some who get babies like in their 20s, you know. So there's that season in their life where it's a whole different new dimension. So if you have somebody like that as your friend, then you have to accommodate them in a way that you best know how. So there's always those seasons in life. Maybe someone has traveled to another country and you're a friend. So there's always that accommodation.
Plus giving people grace.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in your 20s is when you get to learn yourself. And you go through a lot of, you know the word, you go through a lot of, you know, everything. Like your mind is on rotation. You know, you have your weight. You're figuring out how will I look like. You have your finances. You have the relationship. You have what else? You have the universe. I don't know. It's a lot of figuring out in your 20s because the fear is You don't want to go to your 30s still feeling, what have I done in my 20s?
Yeah.
What is that one thing I can say I have accomplished in my 20s? So even for friendship, let's give each other grace, even with our friends. So you can check up on them. Some are starting out their jobs.
Yeah.
Some still have no jobs.
No jobs,
you have a
yeah.
job, so it's just good to
Knowing how to balance
Oh
that.
yeah,
Knowing
yeah.
how to balance that. Just to her point,
Yeah.
I think in relation to that, that's where you even figure out who your real ones are. Who's really in your life, who's just there for the moment, who's just there temporarily, where to put more effort when it comes to friendships and relationships. You know, because you can be giving all of you, for example, into a certain friendship, and the energy is not returned.
It's giving
The energy
weird.
is
It's giving Zimbabwe.
I'm not here with this.
You know,
Yeah.
I think it's also a space where you just try to figure out who do I really need in this phase of my life, because when you're 18, in your teen years, you move with the crowd.
Yeah.
You move with the people, you move with what people are saying, what are the trends going on. When you get to your 20s, you start realizing, number one, it's your life. Number two, you can't have everyone. You know, some people are good. You chill, you vibe visually, but they really do not belong to that phase of your life. And it's getting to this realization and understanding that you don't need anyone and everyone to move. You need I think in my 20s I've really come to just be okay with having a small circle.
Yeah. Wow.
You don't have to have 10 friends, 15 friends.
For what?
Yeah.
Too much pressure.
Yeah, you know, if one friend already takes so much, you have to think about
a group.
God, it's Lydia's birthday.
Oh yeah.
You sometimes don't even remember. How will you remember if it's 15 people?
I know. You just remember your calendar is full of reminders. And that's just a nutshell of the example that in the phase we are in, it's okay to have very few friends in your circle. You don't need everyone to move. So, yeah.
If I could just jump in actually right there, I feel like there's at some point you're just like, maybe at maybe seem social, you know? When you're trying to discover yourself, you're like, maybe I should go out for more events, and you know, eventually you realize, this is not it. It's not me. I'm just like this, because you get to discover a lot about yourself, like somewhere in your late 20s. That's what I feel like. You get to discover this works for me, this does not. But in your early 20s, you're just like, what shall I put myself? Sherehe, sijui what? You're doing the most. But again, everyone's path is different. Life is a journey. Just do what works for you. Do what works for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Importante.
Yes.
For me, my next point is something that is in my heart. And if you know me and if you think you're my friend and you don't know this, you can even guess it. Yeah. Let's come and talk. Are we really friends?
Shots fired.
Yeah.
So
number 3 for me was taking care of your skin early sorry, let me just read it. Taking care of your skin early will save you a lot in the future. And then skincare doesn't have to break a bank. So for me, skincare means a lot. And I think number 1, when I was in campus, I didn't have the best skin in terms of breakouts. The breakouts were there. What did I do in that season? Yeah, I tried going for the skincare which would work, the budget-friendly skincare, and I did my best. Yeah, what is it called? Your basic. You cleanse, you moisturize, you have a sunscreen. Those are my basics. Even when I had no money, and that's even in the first video. I was not eating lunch so that I can save. I did the skincare. And these guys just think I'm just there, you know? God. Yeah, because that's how much, for me, looking good. Every time I'm dressing up and I see that glow on my mirror, baby, nothing you say will push me down, because I know I've done the work.
Yes. You have.
So even for my girlies in your 20s who will be listening to us or watching us, imagine your skin can also be beautiful. And at whatever point your skin is, never let anyone make you feel you are less pretty than you think you are. You might be struggling with acne, you might be struggling with hyperpigmentation, with pimples, with everything, you name it. You try your best, you do what you can do as a person. However, the input of people should not determine how you feel about your skin, how beautiful you feel about your skin. So yeah, if you're in a position to, you can just start by doing researches. Also, there are sometimes this company which have skincare analysis on Sundays, and sometimes it's actually free. I think even therapy sometimes it does have. It's a free thing. You just go and learn what kind of skin type do I have. Is it combination? Is it a dry? Is it normal? Is it oily? So that even as you try buy things, you are buying things that will work and not mess you up. Also, number 2, don't buy everything you see on TikTok or Instagram. Utalia. Your friend's skincare regime doesn't necessarily have to be a skincare regime. Find you. And you find you by understanding what your skin does. Just go on Google and do a research. It will cost you
for the girls. It's for the guys as well.
Even for the guys. For our brothers,
I think we've made an environment where if a guy does these things, they're made to feel like they're super feminine.
For real?
Yeah. I mean, that space where if a guy, for example, like you never see you like, for example, a guy will do a skincare routine, for example.
I love such. I'm like, wow, can we be friends? Because I feel like we can really coexist together.
And I feel like we really need to normalize this. Because, for example, a guy will, for example, have the same issues. Because it's not a girl's problem.
For sure, it's not a girl's problem.
Exactly. It's not. You can find a guy, for example, is struggling with hyperpigmentation or pimples or acne. And they can't even look for a solution or talk about it because they're made to feel like it's feminine. It's feminine for them to do that.
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong.
Break that barrier.
We should make it. We should normalize. Of course, that's a sit and you know, there are guys who can give you pressure. Like you go to their place.
Like
you know,
L'Oreal.
Of course, you can keep your masculinity. But we really need to normalize including guys in this.
True.
Because they might be struggling with something and then they can't even do it because society, quote unquote, has put it in a way that
it's a girl thing. You should normalize having these conversations, actually. So reach out if you're a guy out there and you're struggling with your skin. Reach out to guys who will be of help. To your girlfriend.
Also, I can give some examples of guys who I know really do take care of their skin. We have the Dapper brother, Manasseh.
Eli.
So those are kind of the 3. You can check them out. They can be an inspiration to you. Because if they are doing it, why can't you?
Why not?
Why can't you? You also can. You also can. And taking care of your skin is not being feminine. It's still loving yourself as you should. Just get it buyer.
Right. So for me, the thing that they did not tell us in our 20s is that time is our best asset. And I say this in terms of now is when we have the time to take risks. Now is when we have the time to build our careers. Now is when we have the time to build friendships that would last us decades. Say amen.
Amen.
Now is the time we can just say like, okay, I'm gonna take a month off and just go travel maybe the world. You know, if you can tour the world, go wherever you want, because chances are perhaps you'll hit your 30s and there's so much responsibility. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to take a risk. Maybe I'm going to leave my job and start creating content, for instance, right? Because maybe then you'll have kids and there are all these responsibilities upon you that you cannot just fully say, I'm going to leave my things. Okay, you can. No one is stopping you. But then there are certain responsibilities that you don't have right now that will allow you to use time to your advantage. Exactly. Like unapiga tu naambia kesho tunaenda Mombasa, and you hop on, and we are good, you know.
When you're a mom, you're like, hey, watakula nini?
Exactly.
My mom was making a joke
Watalala
today.
aje.
They have gone for a retreat. Sorry, mom, for using her as an example. But but it speaks to what you're talking about. So her biggest story was they're going to go for the retreat, and then 5 years kufika, sijui nafaa kwenda kupika sapa, kitunguu itafungwa, sijui what you get, and it speaks to, it's literally the next phase of our lives. That's where we're heading to. So back to what you said, in full support of what you said. Your 20s are the time, it's the time frame you have to just be free, wake up and just decide, I'm going to eat at this place, and I'm going to come back at this time.
I'll have a smocha. I'll have a smocha for breakfast.
Yes. It's the only time you have to just be you, do what you like. There's a friend of mine who's teaching me right now to have solo dates. Like, just go alone. You don't have to have people to go to a good restaurant, just sit down, treat yourself. Just be you, be in your space, be in your zone, think about your life. You can't do that when you have kids and a husband.
But you still can.
You can, but it's
still tied. It's not as free.
Yeah.
But also for me,
it's
I honestly don't want to look at kids or my future husband, wherever you are, as a person who will come to tie me down. Like, for me, what I really want to is, number one, yes, I have this new people coming into my life, but I still want to have my individuality as Shera. I still want to be like, babe, I know you can take care of these kids, I need a night out.
And
that's honestly my prayer.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that at that time, there's also, like, at the back of your mind, like, you can't erase the fact that those kids are there. So even if you want to, you see, like, right now there's that carefree, I can just go now. But then when you have kids, you have to make that arrangement. I can't just wake up and be like,
I'm done.
And sometimes it's not even about that. You can have a very, for example, you can have a very supportive husband. But as Lita is saying, it doesn't leave your mind. It doesn't leave your subconscious.
It doesn't.
This is a conversation. I've been privileged to have with my mom. You will say, like, you can have a very supportive husband. Your kids are the best, but in your mind, you even feel like it's unfair. You're just going. At the back of your mind, you'll be like, oh God, I can't stay for as long as I want. I really need to make sure everything is okay. I really need to ensure, for example, their breakfast is sorted, or when I'm gone, what are they gonna eat? It's just those tiny bits of life, and it's not like saying they're coming to tie you down. They're just saying your 20s, like, live every season of your life to your best. That way, even when you get to this other season of your life, you don't feel like there's something you missed out on. Because that's when people feel like, oh my God, I'm not tied down. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. You get? But once God allows you to be in a space where you're able to live your 20s out to the fullest. You have no regrets. I did what I could in my 20s. It doesn't really hit at it, oh my God, I should have done this. I'm proud to say, I don't think any of us has any regrets about uni grades.
No.
We can't say,
I don't.
Oh my God, I didn't give my best to my uni education. You get, I didn't get to do 1.5 GP. You get, because we gave our best when we were in uni, and we really did give it our best. Right? So you can't really have those regrets. I wish when I was in uni I did this. I honestly don't have any, I wish I did this, I wish I did this. Because I feel like every single thing we did at that time, it may not have been extravagant or nini, and of course there are moments you say I would have probably gone out more in uni, but it really hits home that you have lived every season of your life to your best.
For sure.
Yeah.
Your next
So my next point is knowing your identity and what your values are. I think it's your 20s. You really have to figure out, who am I really? Like, what do I stand for? What boundaries can't I cross? Whether it's in relationships or friendships, or like figuring out what your value system is in your 20s. Yeah, because there are a lot of mistakes that you do. I don't call them mistakes. I just tell them. I'll just call them just
learning
things,
curves.
learning curves.
Yeah.
You, for example, go to this party and then you're like, no, I'm not a party person.
Person, yeah.
Then you go to, for example, a hike. Like, no. It's really important. Maybe don't invite me for hikes.
You're Vombi.
Oh, no. Me, I hate getting tired.
So join up kuchoma hapa.
Umepanda sijui milima gani and then uko tu juu umeshindwa kushuka. Oh God. Yeah, as in just figuring out what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
What values do I, for example, correspond to? What am I okay being done within my space? What am I not okay being done within my space? You get, what am I able to accommodate? What am I not able to accommodate? I think it's when you're in your 20s, you just are trying to figure out who am I?
Yeah.
What's your identity? What's your value system? Yeah.
And I'll still say, like, every day is a learning curve in our 20s, because even with that, I'm sure now and then, even maybe like, maybe in your early 20s, you didn't like hiking, and then now you find out in your late
30s,
you're enjoying, you're like, hey, tunaenda weekend gani, kind of thing. So it's just always a learning curve. You always learn, this is what I like about it. This is what you adjust wherever you need to adjust. But yeah, it's important to find out about your value, and if possible, find people who stick to the same value
system.
Yes, exactly, because sometimes you can be hooked up with a group of people who totally think differently. Yeah, the values are totally different, and I feel like it brings some sort of identity crisis. So you're like, okay, maybe I'm overdoing it, or maybe I'm underdoing it. So find friends who have almost similar, if not same, a value system.
It says a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
It says a lot. And even if I could jump in and just say the issue of friends and value systems, right? It can cause you, for example, thought something is wrong, and then all of your squad thinks this thing is actually okay. Probably you're the one who's right. But you'll end up finding yourself into behaviors, and then you're like, how did I even get here? You get, how did I even get here? And it's just like, you don't figure out who has your values to work with. And you can't be accountable if you don't have the same value system.
Exactly.
For sure. Okay, so for me, my last point is on vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Right.
So number one, it's okay to cry, it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to feel jealous at what people have that you don't have. However, don't stay down when you're already down. And don't also allow someone to put you down when you're already down. I feel like I'm the only one who can put myself down. Don't put me down. It is me who has that right. You have no right to put me down. So in your 20s, it's okay to have a group of people or a group of community where they can hear you out, where they can feel your pain and pray with you in your pain. Because honestly, things will go south. Things you thought will work out will not work out at some point. So it's just good to be vulnerable enough to even your friends. I'm not okay doing this week. I need my me time in the month of February. Let's meet up in March.
Month of love.
In the month of love, I'm not okay. Let's meet up in March.
School holidays.
Which is okay. Which is honestly okay. And this will tie down to adulthood, because now in your 20s is when you're feeling the roughness of adulthood. yesterday I was having a chat with my cousin. I was like, you didn't tell me adulthood was hard.
Mm.
You know, because me in high school, I used to see her, I'm like, oh my god, you look good. And
Glorious.
Yeah, you are living the life I want to live.
Yeah.
Now I'm living that life, but I'm like, that life comes at a cost.
It does.
That life you want comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of waking up at 5, sleeping at 4 a.m. Doing that extra that you didn't think you had to. Because man, no one told me. You know, I used to see, but I didn't think, can it
was
be that
like
hard?
that, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
It
However, if you have a good community, imagine you're gonna hack it. You're gonna hack it, but it's hard. It's hard. It's messy. It's vulnerable. Cry it out. Be happy. And also one thing I think, we glorify sadness than we glorify happiness. I can tell people, I think I share more of my sadness than happiness. Because in your happy moments, you're like, I don't know. But in your sad moments is when you need your people.
Yeah.
So the same way we glorify happiness, sadness, let's also talk about our happiness. Because it's not all doom the whole year. At least your friends are joking na kitu inaendelea kwa maisha. Si kila saa, unajua mimi 1 2 3 1 2 3. Sijakula. Yeah, if you have a happy thing going on, glorify it. Because the more, it's like how we say the universe do hear us. So the more you speak into negativity, or the more you focus into negativity of your life, you will see that your life always goes into that direction. But if you try to see the happiness in everything,
you're good.
I'll give an example. On Thursday, I was working from home. Normally, I'm there working from home. What happened? The lights went off. But let me tell you, I just switched to car. I wasn't even afraid. I was like, you know what? I have at least my laptop was at 30%. I was like, by the time in Arudi, I'll be okay. So no, it took 3 hours and that laptop didn't die.
Wow.
I didn't to car. I was just there working. I was working, I entered my meeting with my phone, and I was okay. Me before the Shera before.
Oh my god.
Anxiety.
I would have been at because the panics. Because I panic and overthink. I panic and overthink. So that's your duty.
And to jump on that, I think you get better to manage such situations. Better in your, once you get to discover this is what causes that anxiety, and then you know how to go about it. I feel like, as you're saying, the Shira before, who was probably in her early 20s, was like, oh my gosh, stima zimepotea, I have to run, I have to go look. Exactly. So with time, you just get better at managing whatever situations cause your anxiety, right?
Oh, for sure. And not overthinking everything.
Yeah, true.
Not everything happens. It's happening because of you. Every time we used to say, mom, maybe I've done something. No, it's not a mistake. Imefanyika tu. Imefanyika tu. Sometimes things happen because they've happened. And
there's nothing much
you can do.
And not personalizing things with you. Not seeing yourself like you are the prophet of karma, or the prophet of
doom,
like the enemy.
Imagine, exactly. That's life. If things happen, they happen. You move on. You take things lightly. Whether you take things lightly, hata unanga your stress. And whether the steamer came, they came back. Eventually, my boss didn't even know I could steamer because I was working. But by the time they came back, I sent what I was supposed to send. You see, and actually it worked out. I was like, wow. So just being calm can be okay.
Can I tie something down to that? And I think it's something that has really helped me. I used to be a very anxious person as well. Super anxious. Anxious in a way that, and I think I've told you guys about that situation. I've only had that extreme anxiety 2 times. The first time when I was transferred from a school I was in class 1, heading over to class 2. It wrecked me. My dad used to come every lunchtime. Yes.
You can remember?
Yes, I can remember because of how bad it was.
Wow.
Because I was not as talkative as you see me right now. And then once I get used to a certain group of friends, it would be so hard for me to make
New friends.
So I'm tiny, I'm little. In this first school, I was always top 3, whether I read or not. Let me go to the second school.
Now really?
Top 3.
Now really?
Just saying casually. I was top 3.
Just saying
But I didn't
casually.
have to read.
And that's yes. No.
I knew. Nikianguka sana. Position 3. Let me go to the second school, guys. Oh my god. I think the first exam was position 8. The second one, 16. The third one, 24. I was like...
And then your friends
Then I didn't
asking
know
you
how
what's
to
happening.
deal with that.
Yeah.
So it's academic pressure on one side. On this other side, I feel like I do not even know how to make friends in this new setup. So it really did me dirty. Like that's when, and I didn't know it at that time that this was anxiety. My dad had to come to school every single lunchtime for me to eat. Because if I eat, I'll just puke. For a whole term. So you can imagine how that setup is. The second time was in 2020. I told you guys the background of it, so I'm not even gonna repeat it. But that's when I actually started understanding what anxiety is all about. And it really played a role into my faith. That's when, right now, everywhere I go, I just tell people, just let go and let God. Yeah, because I realized I worry too much about things. I'll worry, did I do something? Did I do something wrong? I'll go to the extent of someone has done something wrong to me, but I'll actually apologize to just, calm the situation. Because you feel like, oh my God, am I the one who's actually,
The problem.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I learned to just let go and let God. So it's a principle in my life where I just go to God, I just tell him, I've done my best. I've done my best in this situation. I don't know any other way I would have done this particular thing, but I'm just letting go and letting you. Yeah, and it has worked wonders in my life. Yeah, even at work. Because sometimes you can break your back doing things. You can break your back doing things. And then at the end of the day, it's just you who knows how much it has taken, from you. So nowadays I'm just so keen on, I've done my best. I did all I could in that specific moment. I'm letting go and I'm letting you go. Take on
Letting it be.
Yeah, and it has worked wonders for me.
Anxiety is real, honestly.
Anxiety.
Yeah, it's real, and it's even worse now. Like if your friends and family are not, is the word aware, or perhaps they don't really speak about even mental space, especially in your 20s, because you're trying to figure out yourself, your life, your career, your finances. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot to figure
There's
out.
a lot.
With one person doing
with one person. So you can imagine if you have pressure from all these groups of people, even your church, they're expecting something from you. In your 20s, they expect you to also build that relationship with God. You also have that internal pressure from yourself. So it's really important to have a safe space where you can speak about your mental health, to be honest. It's sad to see very young people maybe commit suicide or stuff like that because they were not able to reach out to particular people to be of help. It's pretty sad, man.
Also probably somewhere there, because we have really talked about God and about anxiety. There's this Bible verse, I'm not sure where, but it says, do not be in prayer, do not be anxious about anything, but in prayer with thanksgiving, submit your supplication to God. So for me, that verse always,
I think it's in Philippians.
Philippians 4. 4 verse 6 to 7.
Yeah, 4 verse 6 to 7.
Yeah, so that verse really comes through. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm anxious. What am I thankful for today? I say it. However, please do 1, 2, 3. And honestly, whether God hears.
Yes,
he does.
God hears. And I remember even Joy's story and know how she is right now. You see, the growth within 4 years, because we have seen it, it's honestly big. It's honestly big. For me, how my anxiety comes is my hands. Just so you can see, I start getting sweaty. I sweat and then I start stammering when I'm anxious. I don't know why it happens, but it just happens. I've not yet dealt with it because it doesn't happen as often, but when it does, what
you realize.
What I do when I start saying I'm sweating, instead of talking faster, I talk slower for me not to stammer, because you can notice, especially work. Work has really made me anxious, because sometimes you can be asked something, don't know what to do, don't know what to say. And
you can even get a brain freeze.
Exactly.
Honestly,
you can get a brain freeze.
Like everyone is complaining about everything.
And you're like,
I'm even like, okay, what do I even do in this particular moment? Because it's so overwhelming. It really comes in an overwhelming stage. Yes, you want to do something, but you don't have the energy to actually do it. Yeah, and I think it's something many people do not either they do not understand it, or they just, I don't know how people view anxiety and how messed up it can be. Because you can be in a place and there's nothing much you can do. You can't start telling people, oh, I was anxious. That's why.
I did not do the work.
I didn't do this because I was anxious, because it really hits, and it hits bad. Because you can find you're just helpless. You don't know what to do at this specific time. What do I think? What do I do? What action do I take in this specific moment? Right? And I feel like it's something that's become very rampant with this generation.
Oh, for sure.
Anxiety levels are hiking, mental health issues are ukoju. I think more. I'm not sure why,
but I think as much as it's there, I'm really grateful that we've been talking about it. Because mental health hasn't started with Gen Z's. But now the generations before didn't even know what was happening to them. Like, where am I sweating? Why is my heart always pounding when I see this person? Why is this happening to me? Why am I freezing? And I can't walk. But not because of us, we're raising awareness of it's called 1, 2, 3. So the more I feel like the more we speak out, the more we speak, like this episode even wasn't meant to be about mental health, but somehow I think it's coming to it. The more I say how I feel when I'm anxious, she says it kind of will help you when you're listening to us. Probably that's how you feel. Or maybe anxiety will come with I'm not eating, I'm full the whole day. That's joy. Joy when she's anxious, she honestly doesn't eat. She's always full. Me, when I'm anxious, I overeat. Because it's the only way I know to not think about it.
And it's not even being full.
You just don't want to eat.
You're super hungry, but you're scared to eat. Because what used to happen, especially when I used to go through those anxiety phases, if I eat, I'm going to puke.
To throw up,
I'm going to throw up. Right? So the thought of food in itself is giving me anxiety, because I'm like, oh God,
if I eat,
and then I'm going to be in an uncomfortable space all day. So I can't eat. Like I'll rather avoid food because that's the only way to make sure that I don't throw up. That's what it looked like for me. And I used to be up like at 3 a.m. looking for a therapist, because mental health is very expensive to actually go for therapy. It's super expensive. You don't have actually those avenues where you can just walk in a therapy session. It's super expensive. So I remember, especially around that year, I used to be up at like 3 a.m. There's a time I was super angry because I didn't understand. And you'd rather go to the hospital and then they're telling you this is the problem. Because I didn't know what exactly is happening with me. So I go for numerous tests. Oh, GH pylori. No, check if your stomach is like this. No, check this. Every single test you do is okay. I remember I even told my mom, I wish they can just find a disease and then tell me these are the meds. This is what you do. Right? But being in a situation where I remember I even threw my phone. It was a Sunday evening. I was so mad. And I think I just broke out, cried. I just told God, no, I'm tired. That's where the letting go and letting God started for me. Because I was like, God, I've done every single thing that I know how to do. I have gone to hospitals. I can't find what's wrong with me. And then now social media, the post of social media, that's when I started you see the way you can Google your, they say Google can take you to the grave early. Yeah, so I'm just Googling, and then that's when anxiety started popping out, what it actually looks like. And that's when I started reading more about what anxiety is, what it means. Yeah, and it's been a journey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
can tell you, mine I can just tell you for free.
Yeah.
It's been God. Yeah,
That's great.
I can't explain how it ended. Of course, there's still moments where, and it's human to feel that way, but it's never gotten to those levels again. I didn't go to any therapist.
Yeah.
I didn't take any meds. I prayed. I think my relationship with God got intense at that moment because I was like, there is no other thing left for me to do to sort this out.
Yeah.
Because it's something unexplainable. Yeah, so I was just like, God, to be honest, back to vulnerability. I was vulnerable with God at that moment. I was so mad. I was just like, God, I do not know what's happening with me. I do not know how to get rid of this feeling. I don't know how to move past this at this specific moment. So just take control.
Take the wheel.
I've done all that I know. It's not your turn. If you say you are God, when you start questioning God, you God. If you know you are God, you just
do
get
your
me
thing.
out. Yeah, just do your thing. Just get me out of this hole because it can get really bad.
For sure. I think for me, when we talk about anxiety, I think I discovered it when we actually were doing an assignment. I don't know if you guys remember some com class, and we had to like do a presentation because it was COVID time. We had to do a presentation on camera.
Oh yeah, public
Yo, it was. I think that's when for me it just I did something about anxiety, and that's when I like would say I was exposed to feeling anxious, number one, because this is new. You're in COVID times, everything just different. And that's when I got to experience anxiety and also get to know about it. And then since after that, I feel like also people have at least become more vocal to speak about it. And I'm even glad we're speaking about it, like right now, because it's something that most people are experiencing in their own different ways. So, well, find out what are your triggers, what are your triggers, and if you can't, just reach out for help.
Mungu anasaidia.
Kabisa.
Also, on Lydia KM's page on Instagram, she has a highlight called therapist, and there's as low as from 1,500, but that's a virtual session. So you can just go there and see what will work for you. Yeah. What will work for me.
And also find a community you can talk to. Friends, it can be family, it can, people you're feeling safe enough to speak about what's going on with you at that specific moment. Right? Because triggers can be very different things. It can be family triggering you, it can be a relationship triggering you, it can be a friendship triggering you, it can be schoolwork triggering you, it can be work triggering you. As Shara said, once you identify your triggers, I really pray, because it doesn't happen automatically. I really pray that you find people, a safe space you can actually talk to about what exactly is going on with you without fear of judgment or, oh my God, what are they gonna think about me?
And if you don't find a safe space, if you have maybe no one in your life you feel safe to talk about it, you can probably go find a therapist or even just pray about it and ask God to connect you to a community that will make you feel safe. And for me, even my prayer is that we may connect ourselves with people who are not judgmental. If I tell you my trigger is stammering and you feel me doing that, don't laugh, because you already know it's my trigger. So probably hold my hand or tell me it's fine. Breathe in, breathe out.
Or take a walk with me.
Exactly. Don't even talk. I'm here for you. We can just stay in silence.
Cry if you need to.
Cry in silence, and from there we'll figure it out.
And I have a question for you, ladies. As we wrap up, I believe so. What is something that you're doing differently now in your 20s that you feel is important for you to share?
Should I start?
For sure.
Because the answer is already.
Yes.
Seeking God more and more intentionally. I had a season of my life where I wasn't too sure about this faith thing. Yeah, because and I think it's immediately I joined campus. You work with people who are even doubting the existence of God. And they're going to give you points. And that
makes sense.
The big bang theory. Look at and it trickles back to who do you have around you, who's speaking around you, you know. And then at that specific moment in time, you're 18, 19. Yeah, so you really don't have things figured out in terms of your faith. So what I think I'm doing now in this season of my life, mid 20s, I think is being more intentional with my relationship with God. And understanding that you're not gonna be perfect every single day. Yeah, but try. Yeah, just start. When we're saying you just start, you just read the Bible. You just pray. Right? Sometimes you don't have things figured out in terms of faith, and I think for me, it helps me give grace to so many people who are also trying to figure out what their faith journey looks like. So what I'm becoming more intentional with in this season of my life is just being more intentional with how I seek God and the relationship I build with God, because that's super important to me. So yeah.
Oh, great. Shera? Ni sawa tuyon. Let's hydrate.
Hydrating.
Oh, wow. Please repeat the question again.
So, we are in our 20s. What's the one thing that you feel you're doing rightly or correctly that you feel is important to share?
Okay. So, number one, at this point, God. Wow. For me, honestly, God is my best friend. And I tell him every day. I talk to him as a friend. And knowing him, hata siku hizi I can even quote verses. And for me, it's growth. I couldn't do it last year. So even this year, it has only been 2 months, but my intentionality to knowing him, and not only knowing that he's there for me, but also reading the Bible and having it in my mind. You know, like for me, my best verse is Isaiah 60:22. At the right time, I the Lord will make it happen.
You repeated it to us
a lot of time, I know. Because the more I say it actually to myself. Yeah, because things happen, and then me in my mind, I thought this and this will have happened, but this is what is happening. But sometimes you try finding answers to things, but there are no answers, you know. So for me, my relationship with God has helped me. And number two, what I'm doing right in my 20 is, what is it called? Preserving my peace. Peace out. If you're not for me, you're not for me. In terms of friendship, in terms of relationship, I'm peacing out. So I'm only putting people in my head and in my heart who are giving me the same energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
And what you deserve.
And what I deserve. And the same way I want people to give it to me, I'm also trying my best to reciprocate it.
Exactly.
You have to give and you also have to give out. You know, you give in and give out. Yeah, so that's number two. Number three is skincare. Gosh, if only I could afford the Acne La Roche.
That time is coming.
That
time is coming.
Yeah, but for me, skincare with the little money I have, I'm doing my best. I'm honestly doing my best. I'm doing my best, and there's a video I sent you on TikTok. You saw it. I was in analysis.
You sent who?
I saw it.
Yeah, is it? No, the whole group, but I tagged Lydia because she has been saying she wants to go
asking analysis.
I think I'm a friend who listens. I see something, I'll share.
Yes, I saw it.
So yeah, so for me also, even in my friendship.
You guys want to leave me with your queen?
No, we'll go. We'll all go. I had told her since she likes skincare, once she comes across a place, at Tume, she will go.
So I said, so for me, skincare is because I believe if you feel good about your skin, what can you do?
Confidence.
Conquer the
Exactly,
world.
confidence, and also people telling you, "Oh my God, you look good." Oh my God, it really makes you feel good.
True.
It makes you feel good. So for me, skincare. So yeah, those are the 3 things in my 20s that I'm doing right by me.
Great.
Nafanya hata nikae kama
No.
na point. No, I'm saying it on a light note.
Karibu nianze kunini.
No.
Deduct. Oh my gosh. For me, I think when I listen to you both, what's popping to my head is intentionality. In everything, you have to be very intentional. And I feel like that's one thing that for me, I would say I'm doing correctly. If it's with my friendship, I'm intentional. If it's with a relationship, it's intentional. Even with my parents, my siblings, and my family members, everything is just intentionality. For me, that's one thing that I'm still working on, but something that I feel like I'm doing correctly. If I'm intentional to go home and work out, I will work out. And
you have been.
Yeah, I have been.
I can vouch for you. You have been.
Right, yeah. So it's intentionality in everything. That's one thing that I would say I'm doing right. And number 2 is also, we know that there are all these voices around you, but at the end of the day, the last decision lies with you. It's your life, it's your journey. So listen to yourself is what I would say. Just zoom out all the noise, sit down and ask yourself what exactly works for me and what do I want. I feel like that's something that recently I'm really doing, because there are days maybe my friends want to go out and eat rice.
That's the
that friend is not
you
me.
honestly want to go.
Definitely not me.
Right? And I'm like, I don't really want to go eat rice. There's that moment you have to sit down and ask yourself, is it really what I want? So I feel like those 2 for me is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's the
So
way
for
to
you,
go.
in short, you're not going with the wind.
No. I'm going with what works for me and what I feel is right at that moment. So that's it, guys. Unless there's something else you ladies want to add.
Pendeni Mungu.
Yes, please.
Pendeni Bwana.
Build on that relationship with God, for sure.
For me, you're not alone in anything you're going through. Aki, believe me, there are 1 billion people probably going through the same thing. So you will find it. You'll find your answers. Just search deep in yourself and know you're not alone. And if you are a friend who you are mentally aware of what mental health is and everything, and you have people around you, I don't know, try to listen. And that's what I always say. If you're speaking, listen to someone, listen to understand, not to speak. Yeah, so that, and there are things that someone can mention to you, like, hapa kuna kitu, where can I find out more, how can I be of help? Not sikula saa tu wewe kazi yako ni kusikiza alafu sema okay, listen to just understand. I'm like, okay,
don't just listen for the sake.
Yeah, just be there. And you may not do anything for that person, but I may pray for you, and I won't tell you I've prayed for you, but I listen, and it's a pain I'm also carrying with me. So yeah, you got it, gents and ladies, you got it. And I'm just happy we are doing this, honestly. Probably I'll say this until the last episode. Because I still can't believe you're honestly shooting our podcast.
Yeah.
And
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Can I add one tiny thing? Tied to what you said? Be kind. Please be kind. When you walk out here, people's problems are not written on their foreheads, right? So you can say something, it's just shouting. Me, because I hate people who shout at you. Why are you shouting? Just say
Una shout why?
Una shout. I think it's because probably I'm a calm person, but I just hate, just be kind to one another regardless. You get, don't be kind because just be kind. Just be kind. You don't know what someone is going through at any given point. You might say something that might trigger them. Yeah, as you said, people are committing suicide, and it's sad that things are getting to these levels. But you'll find sometimes it's someone just made a comment and didn't think about what they're saying, or someone just shouted and they're not cognizant of how will this make
someone
else
react.
feel. Yeah, so be kind to whoever, whenever, however.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Irrespective of their place in the society.
Yes.
Because we see that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you've got the ranks today doesn't mean it's always going to be like that
Tomorrow. That's true.
So just respect people and be kind.
For sure. So that's it.
Over to you, Madam Moderator.
All right. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening through all this way. We hope that you liked the video. Leave the comments down below. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
We are
Done.
See you next episode.
My legs.